The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Certainly a lot to get to today, a lot to go over. We're in the YouTube Super Chat, pushingthelimits.live. And you know what? I'm wearing my my brand new Don't Be a Trump mushroom gobbler shirt. I guess I'll stand up just so you guys can take a look. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Came in the mail today. I hope you guys are ordering it on pushingthelimits.live. We got some fun shirts up there. A lot to get to coming up here at the bottom of the hour. This guy in high school founded Dream for America as a student. It's a great organization, and certainly no better time than now to protect our democracy. William Heed will be joining us at the bottom of the hour, talk a little bit about that. And then coming up in hour number 2, oh yeah, this is going to get heated. This is going to get fun. She's known as Shannon is Everywhere. I had a debate with her a month ago. She is a staunch Donald Trump supporter and conservative. So she's going to be joining us in studio. That's going to be a lot of fun talking to her, figure out why she voted for Donald Trump 3 times, and can you defend your vote now almost 2 years into this administration? So she's going to be joining us in hour number 2. You know that's going to be a lot of fun. Listen, MAGA is still talking about John Ossoff, calling him a misogynist pig, among other things, when really all he said, literally, all this man said is that Trump's traveling with Natalie, and he'd rather travel with Natalie than worry about the really pertinent, important issues that America is facing right now, like, for example, the war in Iran. We'll get to that in a little bit because Donald Trump, holding a press conference earlier today, obsessed with everything and anything that most of America doesn't really care about. I found this very interesting because this was on CNN last night. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch this. Natalie Harp's brother revealing on CNN Live yesterday this unhealthy obsession that his sister has with Donald Trump. So his name is Preston Harp. He's speaking publicly about this. Listen to him talk about this infatuation that this crazy lunatic has for Donald Trump. Watch this.
You guys grew up in the same home, the same family, so you understand where she's coming from in a way that no one else does.
Yeah,
what do you think drew her to him?
Well, my mom raised us with the idea that American exceptionalism was the correct way of looking at things, that the United States is the boss of the world, that, like, you know, slavery was back then, that was normal. People weren't bad because they had slaves. And honestly, and it's like Trump wants to take all those books out of schools. He wants to rewrite history. And so, like, I think that my sister, unfortunately, didn't break out of that delusion that my mom raised us with. And Trump is like everything that my mom taught us to respect. So I think that's where her infatuation for Trump comes from, honestly, because I don't think it's a physical attraction. Let's get real, you know, like, personally, I don't think so.
So when you use the word infatuation, I understand your point about, you know, the nature of it. I mean, she obviously is his assistant. She they call her the human printer, right? She prints everything. She takes his social media dictation. She accompanies him on almost every trip, including when he goes to Mar-a-Lago or his golf club in New Jersey on the weekends. And she was, of course, Preston, as we're all now aware, one of the very few people who did not include the Secretary of State or Treasury that Trump took off Air Force One via that catering truck. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that if you're really friends and loyal to your team, why would you just go peace out and take another airplane when you think the other airplane's going to get shot down? Like,
what do you think it is about her? I mean, what do you make of how much the president relies on her? We've learned a lot, you know, I mean, from Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan's new book, we've learned, right, about his incredible reliance on her at all hours of the day to post social media posts, just as one example.
Yeah. I think that Trump's best friends are people who are his fan club, you know? Like, and so she's his biggest fan. And so that's probably why he likes her. And like, she's good looking. She's got a good personality. Like, I don't know.
I want to ask you, Preston, about something that
she thinks that he saved her life. So like somebody living with that kind of gratitude, that must feel pretty good.
Yeah, because she's a cultist, and I'm actually glad her brother is speaking out about it. She's a cultist, and if you don't believe me, now there are new sources that are saying that Natalie, did you hear about this story, jumped into the trunk of a vehicle of one of his motorcades. This is beyond bizarre. I guess it brings new meaning to the term junk in the trunk. Listen to this.
News sources, Preston, are telling CNN that your sister was involved, okay, back in October 2023, right? The context here is Donald Trump's motorcade was going to leave Trump Tower for a court appearance, okay? And they were all getting into the motorcade.
Oh, yeah.
There was sort of a screaming match about who was getting in what car, and it turned out that there wasn't room for Natalie. So she insisted, she said no. Trump had personally asked her to come to this court appearance, so she needed to be in the car. Now, according to these sources, the end result is that your sister jumped into the trunk of one of the motorcade vehicles to go to the court appearance in Lower Manhattan.
That's really funny. I didn't even know about that.
I mean, what is your reaction to that? I mean, you're laughing, but I mean, is it funny or what? I mean, you know her, so that's why.
I'm sorry. It's actually kind of sad. That's obsession. That's like an unhealthy obsession with someone. If you're going to jump into the trunk of their car, like.
News sources.
Yeah. It is an unhealthy obsession. I think that is a nice way. I think that is a nice way of putting it. It is an unhealthy obsession. And this is another weird obsession that I guess Natalie Harp has had ever since she was 16 years old, according to her brother. Have a listen to this, because I guess she's been obsessed with presidents ever since the age of 16. This is some new information that we're finding out now. Have a listen to this.
So what is your reaction to this? Does this sound like her, or the person that you knew well, your sister?
Yeah. I mean, basically, I'd say since she was like 16, she's had an obsession with gosh, how do I explain this? She's written letters to other presidents. Let me put it that way. And so like her dream came true finally.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying that she actually was very aware of politics, right? And that she had written other presidents' letters. Do you happen to know which ones or what they were about or anything, Preston, that you would be able to share here? I
didn't see the letter, but George Bush, obviously, during the Iraq War.
And did anything ever come of that? I mean, did the White House ever respond or anything, or she just sort of sent a letter?
No, they never responded.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is very odd. Obviously, this is very bizarre. And we use the term cult a lot. We use these terms for many of these Trump supporters that can't admit that Donald Trump can do any wrong. But unfortunately, Natalie Harp, and I say unfortunate because this seems like a very unhealthy obsession, she's very close with the president. And I would imagine she's probably in some very important meetings with the president. She goes with him literally everywhere. And I think it's sickening, and I think it's disgusting. And I think it's weird. And I think it's a national security risk. But this is par for the course. And it's amazing to me that she gets a spot in the catering truck. Marco Rubio doesn't. Caroline Leavitt doesn't. It's very weird. But if there's one thing we certainly know about Donald Trump, it's that he wants people to be loyal. In this case, he wants people to be cultists. He wants people to be beyond loyal, unhealthy, being willing to do and say anything for him, even if it means you go to jail. So it's unfortunate, it's sickening, it's scary, and new details have been emerging that she was told there was no room for her in this motorcade to this New York City court appearance. And apparently there was some sort of screaming match in the Trump Tower lobby. And that's when she jumped into this SUV trunk to stay close to him. But obviously Donald Trump doesn't want you talking about this. So he is attacking everyone who basically does. And there are a lot of new disturbing resurfacing stories that are coming out. And again, several videos shared with the Times show that Harp was sprinting across great distances to keep up with Mr. Trump's golf cart as it went across a Scotland golf course. And in her letter that she wrote, she said, "I also am sorry if I was an embarrassment walking the course in Scotland." She wrote this in a letter to the president that was viewed by the Times. The letter goes on to say, quote, "I want things to always be right between us. I also know I've been distracted all week, forgetting to eat throughout the days and even forgetting to sleep and only catching a couple hours at a time." The letter concluded, "With all my heart, Natalie." Now, the reason why the Trump administration is freaking out over John Ossoff's statement, the reason why is because I believe there's more going on than just an aide that is connected to Donald Trump everywhere he goes. I think there's a little bit more going on than just that. Now, you could be saying, Brian, you're just speculating, and that's fine. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to play you some audio of Donald Trump and the things he said earlier today, going on actual crazy rants. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie?
There'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert. Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram.
All right, welcome back. Pushing the limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up here at the bottom of the hour, William He will be joining us. He is the founder of Dream for America and certainly a pro-democracy organization. He's going to be joining us coming up at the bottom of the hour. And then in hour number 2, an all-out Duke It Out debate with Shannon is Everywhere. A very staunch Trump supporter. I'm wearing my shirt today. If you haven't already noticed, Don't Be a Trump Mushroom Gobbler shirts. They're up on the website, pushingthelimits.live. He is a very funny comedian and actor. You know him from the iconic films like the Hangover movies, of course, and Old School, among many other cult classics. So he's going to be joining us on the program tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to catching up with him. The Attorney General in the great state of Nevada will be joining us, Aaron Ford. He's also running for governor against Joe Lombardo. He's going to be joining us on the program on Friday. A lot of fun yesterday, by the way, catching up with David Pakman, and he's got this new book out. If you missed that interview, please go on my YouTube page. I'm sure you'll enjoy it because I really enjoyed talking to him, and he talks about the dangers of social media and how people are getting brainwashed. It really is pretty incredible, and he's right. And it's a really great book. I've read it. It's awesome. So please check that out. And if you missed the interview, go on my YouTube page for that. Also noting for you on September 9th in Dallas, Texas, we are going to be doing a live debate with a live studio audience, me and a few other left-wing creators, including Kyla Turner, Not So Erudite. I was actually hanging out with her yesterday. She did a debate here in Las Vegas. She's not feeling well today, but hung out with her a little bit yesterday, and we're going to be doing this event. If you see it, it's up there on the screen right now where you can purchase tickets. And that is September 9th. So I'd love for you guys to be able to come out. Tickets are very, very affordable. They're around $20. And you guys come out. I will meet all of you, and I'm looking forward to it. That is, again, September 9th. I'll be out there for the Republican National Convention. I'll be covering it, doing a bunch of interviews. And Leonard Cardinale will be filling in for me for a few days there when I'm out there in Dallas, Texas. So that is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see all you guys out there for that. So Orange Man did another one of those off-the-wall crazy press conference today, mumbling and bumbling. And, listen, we all know, ladies and gentlemen, for lack of a better term, he's an attention whore. We all know that. And he spoke to the press today, and it did seem like he had very low energy, for lack of a better term. And he was ranting and raving like a lunatic about these various vanity projects around the White House that he was doing, and it was very, very strange and very bizarre. Watch this.
It's a million-year life. It's a very strong stone. It will never break. It will never leak. It will never do anything. This is the highest quality stone you can get, and especially for something like this, it's rated a million-year plus. That means it has a million-year life. Can you imagine that? It's 35,000 pounds per square inch. If you look at hard concrete is 5,000 pounds. This is 35,000. So nature is stronger than what the human can produce. It's really pretty amazing. It comes from California, from a quarry in California, and it's a very special stone. This is also used. This carries on out into the helipad. The pad is out there now. It's very close to being finished. The hard work is done. The beautiful work is finished. They're putting the granite top on. And the granite top says, "The seal of the United States of America." That's the exact term. If you look at the seals of the presidents, the seal of the President of the United States of America, meaning the president is in the White House. This is for many presidents. This is for many presidents. They will have it for a long time.
What is this idiot talking about? We're in the middle of a war in Iran. The economy is struggling, as you all know. What is this bumbling and mumbling fool talking about? And then he starts talking about a drone-proof roof. I know this is on the minds of all the struggling Americans out there that are struggling to fill their gas tank or put food on the table. But here's Donald Trump talking about this drone-proof roof. It's insane.
And now we're going to walk over and we're going to see. This goes equidistant or the other side. And right over there, if you notice, is where the ballroom and military complex will be. And the military complex is going to have a drone-proof roof. And you're going to have, on top of the roof, you're going to have drones, many drones, which will protect Washington, D.C., and will protect the White House. Very important. So let's take a look at the helipad, and we'll walk together if you'd like.
Yeah, how interesting. Let's not talk about the really important issues that America is facing. And it's just really bizarre stuff. And then he starts talking about the new grass around the White House. Like, is there any reasonable person in this country that on their mind, boy, I hope they restore that grass at the White House? Really, that's really important to me. Is there anybody on the planet that thinks that this is a top 5, top 10, or top 20 issue? But nope, here's Donald Trump talking about the new grass at the White House.
It's put in, if you come back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's in shock. But you come back in 2 or 3 weeks, this has all been redone. It's all been topsoiled. In other words, we put topsoil, brand new earth on top. Very lot of good ingredients in that earth for grass. If you're grass, you're very happy. And this grass will look so beautiful. If you remember, it had big sunken areas in here, and it was pretty bad.
Why is he talking about grass at the White House? By the way, if he wants to talk about soil, he should be worried about what's in his. If he wants to talk about soil, he should be worried a little bit about what is in his underpants. I'd be a little bit more worried about that. Here's the point where he takes Q&A from members of the media today, and he's asked about exchanging written letters with Kim Jong-un, because the rumors are that that's what they're doing. They're exchanging letters back and forth. Meanwhile, we've learned that Kim Jong-un has been sending artillery to Iran, but Donald Trump doesn't want to talk about that. Watch this.
Thank you, everybody, very much. Thank you.
Are you exchanging written letters with Kim Jong-un?
I can't tell you that. But I get along with him. And you know what? The fact that I get along with him, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. He has 57 very powerful nuclear weapons. Should have never allowed it to happen. They should have never allowed it. If I were president, I wouldn't have allowed it. But he's got them. I get along with him very well. I can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And I know Kim Jong-un very well, and he's going to be fine. As long as we have a smart president, he's going to be fine. If we have a dumb president, then he's probably not going to be so fine.
Are you expecting to meet with him later this year?
Yeah, I will be.
Mr. President, today's
Notice how he talks about Kim Jong-un, and I have a wonderful relationship with him. Why isn't any member of the media asking him about how North Korea is helping Iran kill our soldiers? Why isn't anybody in the media asking those type of questions? I don't seem to understand. Now Trump is claiming that we have possession of the Strait of Hormuz, even though the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and Iran will be tolling. But yet Donald Trump is claiming right now that we're in possession of the Strait of Hormuz. Obviously, Iran is saying the opposite, and it's not the case. But listen to Donald Trump lie.
Being hurt very badly by Canada. Yeah. The Strait, last night we had a lot of boats come through. We have possession, complete control of the Strait. I mean, outside of nuisance value, and there is nuisance value when they shoot a drone every once in a while, and not everybody's going to go through, but they come through. And over the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of oil coming out, a lot of oil. It's not going to be perfect, but it's a lot of oil coming out, a lot. In fact, people are amazed. One of the reasons that oil hasn't gone to like the proverbial $300 a barrel, it's at 83, 84, 85, and it'll be a lot lower when this is over because we have plenty of oil. But one of the reasons it never went into 3 and 350 numbers because we have a lot coming in.
Yeah, there you go. Sure, Mr. President. Everything is going so great in Iran, right? The war is going so well that Donald Trump hears him saying that the situation is very, very good. I do find that very, very bizarre and interesting as well. Here's Donald Trump saying that everything is just fine in Iran right now. So don't worry, ladies and gentlemen.
About what? Maybe at some point, but right now, I think the situation is so good, but maybe at some point. Look, it's very simple. They have to get rid of no nuclear weapons. Iran cannot have a nuclear. You know why? Because they'd use it. and we're not going to let them use it. So Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't. Thank you very much. I'm glad you came out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous, absolutely insane. Everything is going great in Iran. They're not giving up any concessions. Our soldiers are dying. The war is costing us $2 billion a day. Iran says they won't even discuss anything with Donald Trump. They won't even work with Donald Trump. Yeah, everything is going great. Everything is going great. The situation is very, very good. And then here's Donald Trump going back to his ballroom, talking about how you're going to be able to have cocktails and there'll be bomb shelters in the ballroom. Sounds great to me.
The beautiful new roadway. They get out of the car and they walk down this path onto that, and they can have cocktails and everything outside of the White House, and then they go into the ballroom. Even the military, they can use it like that. And we have the ballroom is so much a military component with the drones and the bomb shelters and everything else that we have in there. So it's really, that started off as a ballroom. And before we started work, the military came to see me and they say, sir, we have an opportunity to do something incredible here. And we've been trying to do it for 100 years, but we've never had an opportunity like that. So I had to make that decision. And I said, look, go ahead, design what you want. And that goes down 5 stories. It goes down almost 65 feet.
Absolutely and positively ridiculous. When you look at what's going on in the economy right now, when you look at what's going on in the world, when you look at what's going on in this country, it's absolutely insane. But yet, he's talking about the ballroom, cocktails and bomb shelters. This man is off his rocker crazy, and it seems to be getting worse by the day. It's certainly not getting better, but hey, let's ask what Natalie Harp thinks. All right, I got to open up the phone lines a little bit early today. We're going to take a quick break. The number to call, 702-221-7283, and the number 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the program. William He is also going to be joining us here in just a few moments. So we'll take a quick break. Obviously, we'll take some phone calls on the other side. Shannon's going to be joining us in studio in hour number 2. William He is going to be joining us next. He is the founder of Dream for America. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling?
Welcome back. Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Shannon is everywhere. She's known on social media. She is a staunch Donald Trump supporter, and she's going to be joining us in studio here in just a few. That's going to be a lot of fun. I know that. I wanted to ask you guys this because I think it's an interesting point of Donald Trump's presidency, and obviously there's plenty of more prevalent things to be talking about, right? As I talk about on this show all the time, the war in Iran. I talk a lot about the economy. I talk a lot about the failures of this presidency, and I do it nonstop, and I do it on a daily basis. But I do find it interesting that a lot of the right-wing evangelicals out there and those in the Trump White House and in the Trump administration are absolutely freaking out. And they're freaking out because you have this close aide to Donald Trump, Natalie Harp, who all these weird, strange stories are coming out. And I do find it very telling, and I do find it very interesting that if it wasn't true, and if this story was fake, if you have somebody like John Ossoff that makes a very basic statement and a basic remark, which is he's traveling with Natalie Harp, which, by the way, he is. That's a factual statement. All these people wouldn't be freaking out and wouldn't be going crazy unless there was something more to the story. At least that's my personal opinion, and that's what I think. Number to call, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the program, is 702-221-SAVE. 702-221-7283 is the number if you do want to be a part of the program. All right, let's see. Let's start off with Mike. I believe Mike is calling out of San Francisco, starting it off today. Mike, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian, this is Mike. I just want to commend you. I'd like to commend you for actually fighting these MAGA morons. I mean, it's really difficult because, of course, they're in a cult. And the little comment I wanted to make is that trying to convince Trump's MAGA cult that they've been misled is like a bee trying to convince a fly that honey is better than SHI, and you can guess the last letter.
Yeah, I first of all, thank you for your kind words. I do appreciate that. It is difficult to speak common sense and logic and fact to some of these cultists. It's extremely difficult. I do find it somewhat comforting to know that there are some, not enough, but there are some that are regretting their vote. Now, we could look at that one of two ways, right, sir? We could say to ourselves, well, it's too late now. You voted for him. You got us in this mess. You got us in this situation. Or we could take the approach of, hey, you know what? You made a mistake. I'm glad you're owning it. And now, for lack of a better term, come on our side and do the right thing in the midterms and do the right things in the elections in 2028. So, I mean, I guess it's up to you to decide that. I'm not going to tell you how you should think, but I guess those are the two approaches you could take, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Which side do you take? Which side do you take on that one?
Oh my God. Yeah. I totally take the side of the liberals, of course, but it's just, I've had discussions and debates with some of these MAGA people, and trying to get through to them is just so tough. I mean, and I just wanted to commend you because you and Pac-Man and the other guys, Parker and the Midas Touch, of course, and all you guys fighting. You guys are fighters. You're heroes of mine, and I just wanted to commend you. That's it.
Well, that's really kind of you to say, sir. I really do appreciate that. I certainly don't see myself as a hero. I just see myself as somebody who shows up to work every day. I speak my mind. I try to be as honest as I can, and people are going to agree with me. Some are going to disagree. But I'm glad that there are people like you that appreciate it. I mean, a part of the reason why.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that. As long as you guys are out there still supporting what I do and watching what I do, then I'm going to keep doing my thing every day because of people like you. So I thank you, sir, so much for the phone call and the kind words. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate that, sir. Be safe out there in San Francisco. I've been in San Francisco a number of times. A lot of, boy, San Francisco Giants play in probably the most beautiful ballpark in all of the world. It really is incredible. Always fun to check out San Francisco and go to the Bay Area. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's see if I can take a look here at the names. Let's see. Who is that? I can't even read. Super Resita? Okay, Super Resita is next up on BTL. What's up, Super Resita?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Am I live?
You are.
Oh, okay, excellent. So, in my journey or my search for Democratic shows, there's like, I don't know if it's few, but I only come across a few. But hopefully, we need to have a lot more Democratic shows because there's a lot of Republican shows on the radio waves and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So, my thing is this: I'm a Democrat.
Okay.
And as much as I hear my Democratic people talking against Republicans, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. In the same breath, or not in the same breath, but that next sentence or that next hour should be, what are Democrats doing to have tougher laws, tougher sentencings in these inner cities?
Yeah.
I'm in the inner city, but I also stay in the metro area as well. So I travel back and forth throughout Michigan. But I've lived in Detroit the majority of my life, but I also stayed in the metro areas of Detroit, suburbs and things of that nature. So the point I'm trying to get at is this. I've been trying to figure out who is to blame and how we're going to fix this with these inner cities not having tougher laws and tougher sentencings. I don't know if the Democrats, well, let's start with the Democrats. From my understanding, they are the ones that are constantly letting these guys out too soon, giving them bail quickly. We're talking about violent crimes now. We're talking about individuals that are caught on tape, doing all type of stuff, not necessarily even with a weapon, just, just trying to be combative, fighting and things of that nature. So Democrats, what responsibility, and for Al Sharpton as well, because I hear him talking about so much about Donald Trump this, Donald Trump ain't doing that. Okay, what are Democrats doing in these inner cities to get these people together? Because it's getting worse and worse.
Well, not enough.
Worse.
Obviously not enough. I mean, I have plenty of criticism for Democrats, and I certainly do not want another MAGA Republican becoming president in 2028. That would be disastrous. We can't assume that the midterms are going to go our way either. So, listen, we need more fighters out there. It's why I talk about people like John Ossoff. It's why I constantly talk about the firecracker, Jasmine Crockett. I talk about AOC. I talk about some of the younger stars in the party. The Chuck Schumers have screwed us, for lack of a better term. And we need stronger and tougher Democrats out there. And yeah, of course, we need people that are going to fight for us and to make sure that we never get another MAGA Republican back in office. So, it starts with the midterms.
Now, as far as MAGA, again, what are Democrats have to get into the neighborhoods so we can actually get to, what is that? The states. Each state has to have upper sentencing have to be upped. More time in jail for these violent crimes because there's just too many people. They're having fun out here. They think they can get.
This is where I
put on YouTube.
Yeah,
they can assault somebody, get back out, do it again.
Well, this is where I disagree. This is where I disagree with Democrats. Some Democrats. I think we need to be tougher on crime, and whether that comes with illegal guns that are found on the streets, whoever it may be, I think we need to be tougher on crime. Now, I also think that at times I call it the injustice system because I think, from that, in that same, conversation, I also think it's fair to say that the wrong people are in jail right now. So I think we can go back and forth on ways that we can improve our justice system, but I think we need to be harder on crime in general terms. I think we live in a country where if you have a lot of money and you're white, it's certainly easier for you to get a slap on the wrist than anybody else. So, but I think it's a really great conversation to have, sir. And I really do appreciate the phone call. I believe we have Jimmy who's calling in out of Las Vegas, one of our very intelligent callers that called in. Hello, Jimmy.
Yeah, so when you vote for Democrats, you're going to get more of a. What are they going to do? Open up the borders again and let another 12 million illegals in, so they can.
How many people? How many people? How many people did Barack Obama deport, Jimmy?
Well, supposedly a lot, but
Yeah,
nobody protested.
yeah.
The Democrats
Okay,
didn't
hold on,
protest
Jimmy.
that.
Jimmy,
They're
you're
only protesting because
Jimmy,
Trump's doing it.
Jimmy, you're making a gross mischaracterization. I'm not defending what Joe Biden did at the border.
Nobody
But you're
protested
Jimmy.
People did.
I talk and you listen. You talk and I listen. Don't interrupt me again. You made a broad claim that if you vote for Democrats or liberals, the border will be open and everything will be a disaster. It was a disaster under George W. Bush. It was a disaster under Donald Trump, and it's still a disaster under Donald Trump. Barack Obama deported far more people, millions of more people. Donald Trump supported Donald Trump. What did I just say, dumbass? Are you not capable of having a conversation and listening? Let's see if you're. What did I just say about Joe Biden? Like literally 30 seconds ago, Jimmy.
Did you? My question.
Why don't you answer my? What did I just? I answered it 30 seconds ago before you asked it, dumbass. What did I just say about Joe Biden? Hey, stupid. Pot him down, please. I just said 30 seconds ago my opinions on Joe Biden and the border situation. It's not my fault that you don't know how to listen. Okay, Jimmy? It's not my fault. I've already addressed that. I've talked about George W. Bush. I've talked about Trump's first term. So give me some actual real policies that you think have worked under the Trump administration, since you hate Democrats so much and you hate liberals so much.
No tax on tips?
No tax. Is it no tax on tips? Is that what it is? Just a general thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, in general.
No. Yeah. Okay. So do you know what it actually is, or do you just like the saying no tax on tips, like Make America Great Again? Do you know what's actually in that? Do you understand it, Jimmy, or do you not understand it?
Yeah, they're giving it to people that depend on tips.
They're giving it. They're giving it on people. Can you even speak English? Do you know what the no tax on tip policy actually is? Yes or no? If you say no, I'll answer it for you. Okay, you don't. Okay, I will tell you because you're extremely ignorant. It's not. Are you going to shut up and are you going to listen, or are you going to continue to interrupt me, you dope? It's not blatantly no tax on tips. It's no tax on tips up to $25,000. Meaning, if you make $50,000 a year, $25,000 a year on tips, you're going to save about $3,000 on no tax on tips. You are giving that money back in just a few months because of this war in Iran. Do you know what the average household income family is paying for this war? No, you don't, Jimmy. Do you know how many people have lost their medical coverage? No, you don't, Jimmy. Do you know how many people have lost their food stamps? No, you don't, Jimmy. So while it's very nice that and by the way, most people that make a living on tips make a lot more than $25,000 on tips, okay? So it's very nice that some of those people will be saving several $1,000s on tips, even though Jimmy doesn't even understand the policy. But what Jimmy doesn't understand is they're losing that money right back on some of these awful policies that are in the big and beautiful bill. Jimmy, you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you, Jimmy? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Sounds like they're breaking even.
Sounds like they're breaking even. Do you think America is breaking even with inflation up to 3.5%? Do you think America, I'm talking, Jimmy, shut the hell up. Do you think America is breaking even when the unemployment numbers are up? Do you think America is breaking even when we're spending $2 billion a day on the war in Iran? Do you think America was breaking even the first go around when Donald Trump got us $8.2 trillion in debt? Do you think America is breaking even when you look at the lack of GDP growth in this country and the horrible numbers that just came out last month? Jimmy, do you think we're breaking even?
Trump.
Do you think we're breaking even, Jimmy?
I think both sides got us in debt.
I think both sides got us in debt. Jimmy, who got us more in debt, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Who got us more in debt? You don't know. Let me guess. You don't know anything. Donald Trump got us $8.2 trillion in debt, far more than Barack Obama's first go around. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Jimmy, who's gotten us more in debt, Republicans or Democrats? Jimmy, Jimmy, I know you want to talk about Gavin Newsom, you dope. Who has gotten us more in debt in this country as a whole, Republicans or Democrats? Answer the question.
Why would Newsom?
Not talking about Gavin Newsom. Please answer my question, you dope. Who has gotten us more in debt in this country, Republicans or Democrats? I'm going to ask the question again, and you're not going to get a word in until you answer my question.
Who has gotten us more in debt in this country in our lifetime? Republicans
Money
or
to the-
Democrats? Jimmy, why won't you answer a basic question, you dumb MAGA buffoon? Who got us more in debt? Republicans or Democrats? Answer the question.
Why don't you just tell
I don't know. Why don't you just tell me? You can't answer one direct question because you might be the dumbest caller in the history of this show. Republicans, Jimmy, Republicans. In fact, on a Republican debate stage, a woman who was running for president openly admitted that Republicans have gotten us almost twice in debt. Twice in debt. But you want to make the case that it happens on both sides? Jimmy, why are you so stupid? Like, are you the typical crusty white Republican that has no idea?
Why would the Democrats take $93
right.
billion and give it to the energy department just as Trump
right.
was before
Jimmy,
Trump came into office?
Jimmy, you might be the dumbest person that has ever called into this show. Have a nice day. You're not even worth having a conversation. All right. Speaking of conversations, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Shannon is everywhere is going to be joining us in studio. We're going to have a good debate with her. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NIKOLE, MITCHELL.com. You can reach out to me on my website.
All right, welcome back. Pushing the limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. As I mentioned, I do these like 1 versus 10 debates. I've done a few of them now with my friend Sean Kelly, and I got to be honest with you, for the most part, I enjoy them. They're a lot of fun, and I'm used to being in that arena where I'm debating a bunch of people that disagree with me. I think Tim Pool the other day on Jubilee. I know Tim really well. He's never been in a situation like that before, and if you're not in a situation like that and you're not used to it, it's going to show. But I'm doing another one of those debates at the end of the month. And one of the people that I met at one of my debates is in studio with us right now. She's known as, well, her name is Shannon, but she's known as Shannon is everywhere on social media. She's a staunch conservative Republican who, of course, voted for Donald Trump. And she's nice enough to be joining us in studio right now. Shannon, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Did I
Happy to be here.
describe you correctly?
You
are
did.
a staunch conservative. Would you consider yourself MAGA?
Ooh. I was very MAGA. I was.
But not anymore?
I at this point it's hard for me to claim the
Mhm.
MAGA
Mhm.
because of, all the things that are going on. And in the sense of make America great again, yes.
What did that mean to you? Because when I hear "Make America Great Again," I have no idea what that means, and you'll probably disagree with me. But I always thought "Make America White Again." What? Well, the reason why I say that is because a lot of his policies are anti-minority. A lot of his policies are anti-people that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. When I hear Donald Trump say "Make America Great Again," when was America great?
It's been a long time, to be quite honest. But
The 50s, the 60s?
But when you say the minority and the people struggling, but you're saying make America white again, are you saying that white people don't struggle?
No, of course white people struggle. But I
Okay.
think when you look at all the white supremacists in this country, that right now they're not voting on the left. When you look at the Ku Klux Klan, they're not voting on the left. I know there are plenty of racist people out there, and I'm sure there are racist people on the left as well. But I think the majority of the people out there that are middle America, white, hate minorities are people that are voting for Donald Trump. And when I hear them scream out, "Make America Great Again," I'll give you an example. Joe Lombardo, our governor, did a speech here in Las Vegas last week when the president was here. He mentioned the name of the fallen officer, an officer 30 years old who served this country. He has a foreign name. And the second Joe Lombardo mentioned his name, this is days after he was killed, people in the MAGA crowd booed. And then Joe Lombardo had to say, "No, we're not booing." Now, why did they boo? Why do you think they booed?
I can't say why they booed. I didn't see this. I have actually been off grid. I went camping, no service for a while.
But in
But
general,
I can't.
I understand. You didn't see it.
Okay, say if what you said is the way it went, and there was no reason. I don't know the backstory.
Well, I absolutely think there's a reason.
Well, if I don't know the backstory or anything like that, I still, if somebody died, I don't think it's right to boo.
Of course not. But my point is the reason why they booed is because he has a very foreign name.
You think so? But that's an assumption.
Well, why else would they boo? Give me one other.
Well, see, that's what I mean. I don't know the backstory, but regardless of the backstory,
there is no backstory.
Okay.
All he did was say the guy's name. There was no backstory to it. That's all he said.
I don't know him in general, who he is, or you know what I mean. But
neither did the people that were booing.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Regardless, yes, I don't like that. I don't. There are people far left and far right that make every single party look bad. They do.
Yeah, in general terms, I agree with you. It just so happens that the leader of the Republican Party is a liable sexual abuser who's a 34-count felon and a guy who cheats on every woman he's ever been with and brags about going into teenage girls' locker rooms. It just so happens that guy, Eric Swalwell, is a scumbag. Okay, there are people in the Democrat Party or were in that are. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the leader of the Republican Party is the guy that's named in the Epstein files 40,000 times.
Well, he's the leader of America.
Well, he's the president of the United States. He's the leader of the free world, but he's also the biggest. He's also the biggest name, in the Republican Party. But all right, I want to hear your criticisms of the Democrat Party. I want to, I want to get your thoughts on that. But what do you think? Do you regret your vote for Donald Trump? Because I don't know what you're.
I don't regret my vote for Donald Trump because he's doing a lot of really good things, regardless of who his personal life is or whatever. He's doing a lot of good things, and honestly, Kamala Harris was the next option.
Well, I'll get to that.
Not.
I'll get to that. I want to give you the opportunity and hear your criticism of Democrats. Let's just talk for a few more minutes about Trump, and then I absolutely want to get your thoughts on that. So, what do you think Donald Trump has done well in the first 2 years, almost 2 years of his, like, what would you say he's done really good? You said he did some good things.
Yeah, well, my favorite thing, and I'm
Mhm.
going to start with that,
Sure.
is the immigration.
Okay.
ICE.
Okay.
It's completely necessary,
Mhm.
and it benefits our country immensely. And a
Mhm.
lot of people want to call me racist because of that. It has nothing to do with race for me. It
Okay.
has to do with coming here legally.
Okay, so let's talk about ICE first, and then
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
talk about, some other facets,
Mhm.
of immigration. I
Mhm.
think it's a fair topic to talk about. Would you say it's going well? It went well in Minneapolis and if it was going well, why did Christy Noem? Why was she fired? Why was Bovino forced into retirement? Why are there innocent people getting gunned down in the streets? When Barack Obama had ICE out there, they weren't killing people in the streets. They weren't killing 27-year-olds with 3-year-olds in the back seat. They weren't killing people who had never been arrested for a crime in their life, getting shot in the back 8 times. I don't think that's good for the country. I think it's a rogue agency.
Okay, well, so let's compare when it was Obama and to
Sure.
Trump now. Everybody is so worked up on hating Trump and rioting, and back when it was Obama, there weren't riots going on. There weren't people attacking ICE and law enforcement. So it's different because, like, the law enforcement and ICE, they have to defend themselves. So if somebody's gonna, like, for example, forget her name, the one
Renee
that
Good?
yes, Renee Good, thank you, who drove her car towards an officer. What do you think is going to happen?
Why wasn't there a full investigation? And why did Donald Trump and Kash Patel call off the investigation? Why didn't they do ballistics? Why wasn't that case fully investigated? Why didn't they do an autopsy? I'll tell you why. Because they had something to hide. I would also say that they lied and they said he was injured. He wasn't. There were tons of protocols that were not followed. There wasn't de-escalation techniques. Renee Good, would I have been in the middle of the street doing what she did? No, but she didn't deserve to be shot in the face and killed. She was not a violent criminal. Listen, if there's a full investigation, an independent investigation, and they find that Jonathan Ross didn't do anything wrong, then I would accept that. Listen,
Right.
I don't like Kyle Rittenhouse. I think he's a stupid kid, but I don't call him a murderer. You know
Right.
why? Because he had his day in court. They found him not guilty.
Mhm.
Okay. If the same thing happened to Jonathan Ross, or at least there was an investigation, then I would accept it. But Jonathan Ross is a millionaire now. He's back out on the streets. Alex Preddy was shot in the back 8 times. You can't be okay with that.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
And that one didn't look good. I'll give you that. That one did not look good, and I'm not okay with that. And to be fair, like, there's a couple angles here. Like, people in every single position, they are not always good. They're not always efficient. They should be vetted better. I will say they should be vetted better. That did not look good at all. I'm not okay with that.
Is there any accountability for those officers? Has there been any accountability at all?
Accountability is interesting because there's a lot of people on both sides that there's no accountability for a lot of things.
If
And
you
I
can
don't
give me-
agree with that. I will tell you this. I don't agree with that. I'm with you on that.
If somebody on the left or the right needs to be held to account, and you give me a specific example, I'm all for it. I'm with you. The point I'm making is that Stephen Miller called Alex Preddy an assassin. Christy Noem, ours, called him a terrorist. This stuff wasn't happening under Barack Obama. Now, people died while in custody. That's a completely different situation.
Right.
But these are like the 27-year-old that was shot in Houston. But
I can't comment on that. I'm not familiar with it.
That's fine. But if we're talking about ICE, I think it's a rogue agency, and 50, whatever it is, 47 days of training is absurd. There should be more. There was a woman that was shot 5 times in Chicago. They all lied about it on a police report.
I saw
And
that
then
one.
it turned out that they overturned it because it was a blatant lie when the videos came out. I think Tom Homan is a complete buffoon. And then when we talk about immigration, yeah, sure. I'd like to be in a country where everyone's here legally. Absolutely. But I would assume you care about our Constitution, right? You care about what's in our Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay. In our Constitution, it says everyone has the right to due process. Every person. It doesn't say every citizen. Donald Trump's not doing that. They're not giving people due process. There are people that are seeking asylum from Mexico. It is illegal for our government to deport them if they're going through the proper process in court. They're arresting people and they're deporting people outside of courthouses.
They're not citizens here.
Right, but it's illegal to deport somebody if you're seeking asylum from another country like Mexico. That's what it says, that stuff in our Constitution.
But you're not seeking asylum. You're committing a crime. If you're seeking asylum, you take the steps to come here legally.
Right, and that's the point I'm trying to make. There are people in this country right now that are taking the necessary steps that are following
now because they're scared, or
no. What I'm
Okay.
saying is this has been happening since day one of the Trump administration.
Mhm.
They're literally deporting people that are seeking asylum from certain countries like Mexico, where it's legal for them to be here if they're going through the proper process.
Mhm.
And they're literally arresting and deporting these people outside of the courtrooms. And,
I looked into that. I did. I looked into that, and
Mhm.
I saw a lot of false things. Like that's not happening.
it is.
It's
I don't
from-
know if
I-
you saw that.
yeah.
It is.
Okay.
But
Well, we can disagree on that.
But I know there are some people that think that everyone should be deported if you're illegal, which
Mhm.
which obviously is not going to happen. He's deported 350,000 people. It's impossible. He's not going to deport everybody. That's
Well, it's-
but
yeah, it's-
but
yeah.
but I mean, listen, violent criminals. I think most people in this country agree. If you're a violent criminal and you're
Well, see,
not,
that's one thing that pisses me off is like the violent criminals who are illegal
Mhm.
and they get arrested for these
Mhm.
violent crimes, and they just get, instead of getting sent back, they just get released back onto the streets here, even though they're here legally. They committed a violent crime, but they
Mhm.
just let them back out.
well, I think if you're a violent criminal and you're undocumented, you should be deported.
100%. But why aren't they doing that? Why weren't they
um,
doing that?
Well,
Why are they protecting
they're
them?
not really doing that now. Do you know 6% of the people that have been deported under the Trump administration are violent criminals? So we were told that that was going to be their number one priority. Clearly, it's not their number one priority. I'm with you. If you're a violent criminal, I want you deported. You shouldn't be here.
Well, see, here's the thing with that. Like, I'm sure they're seeking the violent criminals, but they're also finding other people that are here illegally, which is a
Well-
crime. But they're seeking them, and in the process, also finding other people here who are here illegally.
Yeah. I think you're going out of your way when you're going to Home Depots, when you're going outside of courtrooms, and then people that are seeking asylum that are 100% white from South Africa. The Trump administration has welcomed them with open arms. They haven't done that for one brown person. That's why I use the term "Make America Great Again," "Make America White Again." I also think most of these people are decent people. They're family people. They're hard workers. They want a better life for themselves and their family.
Don't get me wrong. I had a live-in babysitter when I was younger. She lived in her
Yeah.
son was like my age, and she still to this day visits me and we talk. We're still, I love the lady. She's here illegally.
So listen, we could agree to disagree. I think he's been a failure in just about every category, including immigration. But we can agree to disagree on that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like I look at the war in Iran, which I think
Yes,
this is
that's a big
divided.
topic. It's so
divided with MAGA too.
It is.
He did say that he was going to be a peace president and he
Right.
wasn't going to start any new wars. What are your
Right.
thoughts on that?
My thoughts are I go back and forth on it, but if you look at the big picture, when he was campaigning and he was like, no wars, blah, 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 the issue with Iran was not foreseen. He wasn't planning on Iran having their nuclear powers.
What changed in the last 2 years, if that's true? What has changed that they have proven, that they have shown the American people from 2 years ago when he said he was going to be a peace president to now? Because to my knowledge, they haven't provided any evidence. In fact, Tulsi Gabbard testified under oath 10 months ago that they were not furthering their nuclear capabilities. She said it under oath based on our own intelligence. And then we were told we obliterated them 9 months ago. Then we needed to obliterate them again. I think this is Benjamin Netanyahu and this is Israel that got in Donald Trump's ear the same way that they did with George W. Bush in the war in Iraq. I think this is a BS war. In 5 months, what have we accomplished? They haven't given up one concession. We don't have the Strait of Hormuz, even though, I mean,
that's why it's so divided.
I mean, I just think it's an ill-advised war and an illegal war, and it should have never happened to begin with. And this is not America first. If he says America first, he's certainly not doing it with his policies.
Well, I feel like America first would be that because he's protecting our country from a country that absolutely hates us having nuclear weapons.
So if it's a country that hates us that has that, then wouldn't that be the case that we can go to war with Russia? We could go to war with North Korea? If
This is a country that's like death to America. Like they literally hate us, and they are not even supposed to have these
don't
nuclear.
you think they hate us more now?
Well, we took out a lot of their.
Took out a lot of young children in a school. We took out a lot of innocent people.
Yes, yes, I know, and that's super unfortunate and super sad, and I hate that happened.
Why won't they take responsibility for it? Trump will not take responsibility for it. It was a Tomahawk missile. They still won't claim it was their fault.
I don't know. I can't answer that one. I can't answer that one. That's a tough one. But I do know that putting America first and trying to take out their nuclear capabilities is saving us from a nuclear attack.
It's the reason why
America first.
The reason why no, I don't think it is. I think because I would respectfully disagree with you because there's no evidence that they furthered their nuclear capabilities. That's number one. They haven't provided any. Number two, it's killed our economy. Gas prices are almost twice the amount that they were when Biden left office. Inflation is higher now than it was when Biden left office. It was just under 3%. It's over 3.5% now. The unemployment numbers are higher now than they were when Biden left office. The GDP growth numbers are worse now than they were when Biden. I mean, basically almost every economic metric is worse now than it was when Biden left. I don't think that's America first.
Right. So, yeah, the economy was shit with Biden, but I feel like in order to fix something.
Wait, what do you mean the economy was crap with Biden?
Well, I mean, aside from all the stimulus checks and stuff.
But inflation was at 3% when Biden
But there
left
was
office.
so
Unemployment was down. What do you mean that? Okay, I understand. During his administration, inflation was high, coming out of a global pandemic and the war in Ukraine. Okay,
yes.
But I'm talking about when Biden left, all over the world, people were envious of our economy and the way we came back from COVID when Biden left office. Everything was headed in the right direction, was it not?
I don't agree with that.
So what?
But I want to get back to the point of you're saying that the economy got worse with Trump, and there's things.
Well, I'm not saying that. The numbers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. There's things that have gone south, if you will. And my viewpoint on that is that sometimes, in order to improve things, other things get worse first, if you will. And that's what I'm hoping is happening. I agree that there's things like I live in California. Okay. Yeah. You want to know how much I pay for gas? Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, I see that. And I know that some of that has to do with Newsom, obviously, but it's also increased since this started. And I'm thinking it's temporary due to this war going on with Iran.
I don't think the war is temporary.
You know,
there's no end in sight. They can't.
I do agree. I do agree that they should have done their thing and then moved out. That's what I'm saying.
But what have they done? Like, what have they done?
Okay, so you say that there was no nuclear thing going on. There's no evidence of
they
it, blah, blah, blah.
They haven't shown anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of research, and all my research says there was. But my point is this: we should have taken it out the first time and then just bye. Like,
well, we were told that 8 or 9 months ago. We were told we obliterated
that's what
them.
I mean. I agree.
We obliterated.
No, he did. He said that. We obliterated them. Yes.
If they just did that 8 or 9 months ago,
and these are the things that make it hard for me to claim MAGA right now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with you on a lot of things.
Kamala would not have gotten us into war in Iran.
Well,
she would not have.
The thing that's another thing. No, she wouldn't have. But
gas prices wouldn't be $4.50 a gallon. Inflation wouldn't be 3.5%. She would have continued some of Joe Biden's policies. And we wouldn't be spending $2 billion a day on a war, an ill-advised war. Donald Trump got us $8.2 trillion in debt his first go around. I understand. I want to hear.
We can go back and forth on that because there's a lot of things the Biden administration was doing. And mind you, she was the vice president, right? So she was part of that.
Not a policymaker, though, as VP.
Still. And there was a lot of unnecessary spending and things going on in that administration as well. So, I mean, every administration has something going on, correct? Sorry, I knocked the camera.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, every administration has something negative going on. Right. No administration is perfect.
Right.
But Kamala, I mean, what were some of her policies that she ran on that you said, oh, boy, I don't like that? Like what were something that she did that you said, boy, that wouldn't work for the country?
My huge things on the left, like what got me really into politics to begin with. Like I didn't really used to be into politics. But when I started hearing the children and the gender changing and all that stuff is when I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? So I started looking into everything.
So a big issue was the transgender stuff.
Huge issue.
How does it affect you negatively in your life and your family?
I will not let my kids go to public school. I'm homeschooling my daughter. My son's in a Christian school.
So you think public schools are getting kids to be transgender?
I literally have proof of that. I have a video. I can send it to you. I have recordings of.
But kids coming out of school can't just go straight to the doctor to get a surgery.
They can though. They can.
Where is
well,
that
in
happening?
California, they can.
So
in California, they can.
Kid, so you're telling me a 15-year-old kid?
Yes.
Could leave
the
school.
The age is 13.
So a 13-year-old kid could just leave school and go see a doctor without his guardians present.
Yep. There's a law.
And have a transgender surgery without any legal guardian knowing.
Yep.
Okay, I'm unaware of that. I didn't think that was legal.
In California, it is. I
yeah.
don't know about other.
Okay, but how does
states.
I still ask you the same question though. How does that affect you? You're a parent.
Like
you're,
I
you're not
said,
going to
I'm
allow
home.
your kid.
I'm not. I have to homeschool my daughter now. I'm not going to send her to a public school in
Well,
California.
that's your choice to do that,
Right,
right?
but that's how it's affecting me. I wish I could feel comfortable to send my child to school.
My understanding is that you have to have at least one legal guardian for and we can look that up.
Yeah, you can look that up. 13 and
but-
over in California, you don't have to have a guardian, and the teachers actually provide you with places to go to start the process.
Well, first of all, the process, and I'm not a professional on this, but my understanding is the process is you have to speak to a number of different doctors and psychologists, and it's not like you just show up and they cut your ding-a-ling off. That's not really how it works. There's a long process that is taken into effect. They don't just provide this surgery, and
the hormones, taking the hormone therapy and the surgery are two different things, but it's still the same thing, if you will.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I think a parent, should have the right to
Exactly.
When a child is a minor, of course, and we
Exactly.
can look that up because that's new news to me. So the transgender issue, you think transgender surgery should be illegal? What's your stance
No,
on that?
I think it should be a choice that you can make after you're an adult. Some frontal lobe development.
What age would that be for you?
I mean 18, but I would say 21. I mean, your frontal lobe's still not fully developed when you're 18. The decision-making process in your brain is not fully developed. And I've seen a lot of videos children who were convinced or made to believe they were in the wrong body, who did gender surgery and stuff like that, regret it. They have a lot of medical issues from it, and it's irreversible, And so my thing is, like, if I were to send my kid to it starts in elementary school. They read books to them. They tell them they can choose their gender. They just when you're a kid, you have a moldable mind. You trust that your teachers are going to teach you whatever. Like, you just believe them, right?
You
like,
think
say
it's
you're in
wrong
kindergarten.
to say it's okay to be transgender? You think
I
it's
think
bad
nothing should be talked about in gender at all in school at all.
What about health class when you're 15, 16, 17 years old? There are many people that I've spoken to that are gay that say they knew they were gay when they were 5 or 6 years old. I guess this is where we disagree. I don't think anything should be graphic, but I think everyone should be. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay
At a certain age.
Yeah, it's okay. I obviously, if you're before puberty, I think they're inappropriate
Exactly.
conversations to have. But
Like, they start in kindergarten.
but I
in
don't.
California.
Yeah, listen. If there's a teacher that's being making sexual comments and
There's literally schools just for that, for kindergartners in California.
Well, if there's proof or evidence
I'll
of a
send it to you.
kindergarten teacher
Mhm.
that is talking about sex, then
Mhm.
obviously that teacher should be fired. There are over 300,000 teachers across the country. I would think the overwhelming majority of them
Mhm.
are not doing that. Are
Right.
there going to be a few bad apples in there? Absolutely. Those teachers should be fired. But I don't think that's a left or right issue. You just have, like in any occupation, you're going to have a very small percentage of idiots that are being inappropriate. I don't really think that's a left or right issue.
Okay, so for example, in California, if a child, whatever age, kindergarten through whatever, says that they're trans or want to be trans, or that they're a boy when they're a girl, any of that, showing it, the teachers are not allowed to tell the parents. The parents are completely unaware. Like, literally, it's illegal for the teachers to tell the parents.
Well, I mean, listen, if a child is saying that it's a he or she, then I think, obviously the parents need to get involved in situations like that for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe there are situations where some kids are embarrassed to tell their parents. Maybe they don't feel comfortable telling their parents because the parents would get very upset.
Well,
I think there's a lot of reasons. It's just like if a kid is gay, right? And he's afraid to go home and tell his parents that he's gay. I feel really bad for those kids that they
Right.
can't be who they
No,
are.
No, I knew
Yeah.
a gay guy. He was my neighbor. He committed suicide because
It's
of
horrible. And there are children
Yeah.
and teenagers that commit suicide because they
Yeah.
have gender dysphoria.
it. Right.
So, I mean, I
But
think it's a very
I feel like
serious thing.
everyone pushing out so much and making it so.
I don't feel that way,
I
though,
feel like
Shannon.
like
I don't-
say you're a child, you're a kid, and you're trying to fit in with all your friends, and your friend says, the cool guy that you want to be friends with or whatever says that they want to change genders and that they're the wrong gender. Say they're two boys and I'm a girl now. Maybe that other kid now is like, oh, I want to fit in, so I also want to be a girl. They're really young, moldable minds who want to fit in, You can't see that happening,
I think it's one thing to say,
or like a trend, if you will.
I think it's one thing to say a child wants to fit in. It's another thing saying that child is just going to go get a transgender surgery that day and become another gender.
Well, not that day.
Well,
But they're
that's
normal.
what
They're
Donald Trump said.
because they're normalizing
That's
it.
what the guy who you voted for said. He said they're dropping off their kids at school and then they come home another gender.
Yeah, no,
Donald
they
Trump
do.
lied.
No, he
that's
didn't
not
lie.
happening.
No, it is happening.
So you're telling me that, Shannon, think about what you're saying for a second. You're telling me as a parent, you can drop off your kid at school and then 8 hours later, they're going to be a woman or they're going to have a transgender surgery. That's insane.
Well,
That's
maybe
happening.
not necessarily a surgery.
That's what Trump said. He said
it
that
can happen. It depends at what point you're at.
It can't happen. You can't drop your kid off at school and then 8 hours later your kid comes home another gender. That's not happening.
I cannot wait to show you the video I made on this,
He
because
said
the school literally provides you with doctors to go to and ways to get there.
Okay, yeah, ways to get there. And hey, if this is what you want to do, there's a process. Okay, that's one thing. That's not what Donald Trump said. He said you drop off your kid at school and then the same day they come home another gender. That is fear mongering.
The same day.
Yeah, he's fear mongering and he's lying.
But it's true. It's a real thing that's happening. Whether he's exaggerating or not, it's still a real thing that's happening. It's still a real thing that's happening.
If somebody could show me evidence of a 13 or a 14-year-old that can go to a hospital and get transgender surgery without one legal guardian present or one legal guardian
I can literally send you the law in
I think
California.
that's obviously I would think that's wrong to do that in California. I don't think that's, even if it was happening in California, I can't imagine that's happening across the country.
Right.
All right. So other than the transgender issue, I don't necessarily think teachers telling kids it's okay to be gay or it's okay to be transgender. I don't think that's pushing it. I think that's just saying be happy who you are. And if there's extreme circumstances where somebody is pushing it, okay, then they should be fired.
Right.
But I think the overwhelming majority of teachers are not doing that. What is another issue
Abortion.
on the left? Okay, so you're pro-life.
I'm pro-life.
Okay, so we can talk about that. Obviously, I'm pro-choice. I don't agree with late-term abortion.
Well, at least you have that.
But my argument to this is always the same, which is if you're pro-life, and I like to call it anti-abortion, but I'll call it pro-life. If you're pro-life, then why would you vote for Republicans? Why would you vote for Donald Trump? They literally vote on every government program against maternity leave, against food stamps, against welfare, against Medicaid. Basically, Republicans vote against every government program that can help a single mother raise a child. That, to me, that's
They're posting limitations to it. Because there are people that take advantage of all the.
There's always going to be a small percentage of people that take advantage.
You see those videos of mothers having more children just to get more aid?
I think there's a very small percentage of mothers that are doing that.
Well, again, I keep going back to California. I'm sorry. I'm really big on California.
Let's talk about the whole
see it
country.
all. I'm trying,
Yeah.
but it probably happens in other countries, obviously. But I see it all over the place. I see it all over the place. LA County, I see it all over the place.
Here's what I see all over the place: people pushing their beliefs on other people.
Well,
if you want to have 100 kids, Shannon, I think you should go ahead and you can
that's
do that.
absolutely disgusting.
Well, listen, I'm making a. Obviously, I'm being facetious.
I know.
But I don't like to tell women what to do, with their bodies or in general. And I think every circumstance is different.
Right. Oh, that's
But
true.
if somebody comes up to me and they say, I'm pro-life, I'm anti-abortion, I'll say, okay, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about Trump getting rid of Medicare for 20 million Americans? And if they tell me, I hate it, I think we all should have health care, and I say, okay, I can live with what you're saying, because you're against programs that hurt American people, like against maternity leave or any government program. I think pro-life, if it's in the fetus, then I want people to be consistent. I want it also to be after the baby is born. And I'm not saying Democrats are perfect, but I think there are more programs to help single mothers that are put forth by Democrats than Republicans. I mean, it's just a fact by the way they vote.
Again, there needs to be a regulation. There needs to be the people that abuse it, and then the people that actually need it.
Yeah,
and
fraud's
use
illegal,
it.
of course.
Well, I mean, people
but
take advantage of it. They do.
But that doesn't mean everybody should suffer because of it. I agree with you.
There needs to be. I think the point of it is there has to be regulations to it.
There are.
Right.
You can't apply for food stamps or welfare or maternity leave and all these other things. There are certain things that you have to apply for, and there has to be a certain level where your financials are at. So there are things in place.
But they need more regulations. Like, for example, the food stamps.
Yeah.
People spend it on sodas and, just not food to cook meals with to take care of your family. I do agree with that. I do agree with
people need to eat more healthy.
Well, there needs to be things excluded from
Yeah.
like soda.
That would be one thing that I think is a very fair conversation to have. My problem is that's not the conversation Donald Trump has in the big and beautiful bill. If in the big and beautiful bill there were stipulations when it comes to food stamps, like what you were just talking about, soda,
Pretty sure
candy.
there is.
Well, he's
I'm pretty
taken
sure that's what they
millions
said.
of people off of food stamps and up to 20 million. We've already lost 8 million people on Medicaid. And, 49% of people that are working right now in the workforce can't afford the health care that they're
You think
offered.
a lot of people that came off of Medicaid were illegal immigrants?
It's illegal for an undocumented immigrant to be on Medicaid. It's completely illegal. You have to apply for it. And if they're on Medicaid, it's fraudulent. They ask for a social security number. It's illegal for undocumented immigrants to be on these government programs.
But they are.
It's fraud, a very small percentage, but we're not talking about undocumented immigrants.
Right.
We're talking about 8 million American citizens that have lost their Medicaid coverage. We're talking about millions of Americans that have lost their food benefits. Yes, I agree with you. If you're on food stamps, probably shouldn't buy soda and candy, and I'd be okay with that. But what I'm not okay with, at least I shouldn't say that, what I disagree with are people that are against abortion, but they have no problem with what Donald Trump is doing to this country, giving the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%. While people are having, Shannon, as you know, to decide, am I going to fill my gas tank this week or put food on the table for my family?
I've been through that for the last 3 years.
I don't want you to go through that.
Here's the thing. I just got out of the situation I was in. My husband broke his back. He couldn't work. We were in a lawsuit. Yeah, thank you. So, and I was homeschooling my daughter, working from home.
Yeah.
It was a big mess the last 3 years. So I'm going to be honest. I needed food stamps. I needed Medicaid. Well, it's called Medi-Cal here.
I want you to have those benefits.
And I did.
A lot of Republicans don't want you to have those benefits. You
No,
needed those benefits
they want
to
you
survive.
to have the benefits if you need the benefits.
But there's 8 million of those 8 million people right now that have lost Medicaid.
Why didn't I lose it?
Well, when did this happen?
It's been the last 3 years.
The big and beautiful bill just passed like 6 months ago.
I still had it then.
Okay,
I still have it now. I still have Medi-Cal now.
In the big and beautiful bill, it's a phasing out period. Up to 20 million Americans are going to lose their Medicaid coverage
because they don't need it and they can work.
Well, okay, let's talk about, I disagree with you, but let's talk about work for a moment. And these are the labor statistics that have come out. 49% of people that are working right now cannot afford the health benefits that are offered to them.
Oh, I agree.
37% of people that are in the workforce, by the way, these are people that are working, aren't even offered health care.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so
I think that needs to change.
Okay,
I think it needs to be more affordable.
Okay, so let's talk about
I do agree with that.
What is the health care plan for the guy that you voted for? What is his plan? In 10 years, he's had the ability to, maybe not the ability, but he's had the opportunity to come up with a healthcare plan, because all I hear about is the bitching about Obamacare. What is his healthcare plan? I haven't heard one. Have you?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so that's not a serious policymaker. If we're talking about healthcare and people that abuse the system, if we're taking healthcare away from Americans and complaining about Obamacare, wouldn't you have a replacement plan? To me, that's not a serious policymaker.
Okay, so to be fair, sorry about that.
That's okay.
He's doing a lot right now. A lot. And there's a lot
to
in everything.
In what?
Immigration. He's dealing with Iran.
Well, we talked
tariffs.
he's doing a lot of damage. I agree with you. The tariffs have done a lot of damage. I'm being serious.
Oh, no.
You
this
agree?
is what I debated about yesterday.
Well, no, you just said he's doing a lot. That doesn't mean he's doing a lot of good. What good has come out of Iran?
That's an opinion.
Well,
wait. Hold on. Back up. You didn't want to talk about the abortion. You just turned it into something else.
Well, no, we talked about healthcare.
No, I want to talk about abortion in general.
Okay, then we can get to the.
Yeah, then we'll go back to the tariffs.
The thing he's doing, stuff he's doing. Okay.
I really wanted to talk about abortion. You said you're not okay with late-term abortion.
No.
Why are you? At what point are you okay with?
The fetus can survive outside the womb.
Which is at what?
I think it depends on that, but I would say probably. I think an abortion cutoff, I'd be comfortable with maybe 4 or 5 months, somewhere around that time frame. I think that is something reasonable where I think Republicans and Democrats could come to the table. Here's what I don't want. What's happening in this country right now. Geography should have no say over a woman's body. If a woman is pregnant, she has to travel to another state to get an abortion. That's repulsive. If a 13-year-old girl is raped, God forbid, any woman, let alone a young girl, she shouldn't be forced to have that baby. I think it's a personal decision, and I understand we disagree. Uh-oh.
It disconnected.
I understand we disagree on abortion and what's a life and what's not a life, and that's fine.
Right.
But the difference between me and a lot of other people is I don't want to tell people what to do. I don't want to look you in the eye and say, you can't do blah, blah. I don't want to tell a woman what to do with her body. I don't know what it's like.
What about the child insider?
What about it?
You don't care about that person?
What I care about and what my definition is of what a life is, to me, is if it can survive outside the womb. And I think that's a decision that the mother should make, the man in the relationship should make, the family and doctors. And I don't want to get involved in that person's life and tell them what to do.
Well, see, here's the thing. Every action has a consequence. If you want to do that, that's
voting for Donald Trump is a perfect example of that.
No. I'm talking about getting pregnant.
Mhm.
You're going to do that. There's a chance you could get pregnant. There's preventional measures. And say you get raped, take the morning after pill. Say you do something you shouldn't have done one night, and
Which
take
Republicans
the fucking
don't
morning
want.
after
Watch
pill.
language. Watch language. Watch
Oh,
language.
I'm sorry.
Which Republicans don't want to be covered in healthcare plans. By the way, the morning after pill. Were you aware of that?
See,
Rush Limbaugh called Sandra Fluke a whore for even mentioning in front of the Supreme Court that she wanted that covered in the healthcare care. Republicans don't even want that covered.
I disagree with that. I would want that available because it would prevent a lot of abortion.
Should be. I agree.
Especially the morning after pill, especially for rape situations. I feel like if you go to the hospital and you've been raped, they should immediately give you the morning after pill.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with that. But in some situations that doesn't happen. And in many situations with women, they're embarrassed. They don't go to the doctor.
It's $20 at CVS.
I understand that, but I don't want to put myself in their shoes. But when you go through an extremely traumatic experience like that, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. That's horrible.
I got the morning after pill the next day.
I wish that didn't happen to you. I'm glad that you did. But as you know, everybody's situation is different.
Right.
I want to give women the choice. I don't want to tell them what to do.
The choice to take the morning after pill and not get pregnant, or wait till you get pregnant and have an abortion.
So what do you do in a situation with a 13 or 14-year-old girl is raped? She doesn't even know what the morning after pill is. She's embarrassed. She doesn't report.
Then it should be known about. They should educate kids about the morning after pill. It should be talked about in sex ed or
but right now for 13-year-olds, a lot of Republicans don't want that talk to even be spoken to 12 and 13-year-olds. But let's just say there's a situation where a 13-year-old was not educated on the matter. She just went through a horrific experience that I wish no one would go through. And I'm sorry you had to go through an experience like that. It's horrible. It's one of the worst crimes anybody can do in their life. But not everybody is going to be educated enough and have the wherewithal to do that. I want to give that young girl the choice. And I don't want to take that choice away from her. And I don't want the government or me to have to look a child in the eye and say, you're going to be forced to have that baby and carry that baby for 8 or 9 months, knowing the horrible atrocity that happened to her. This is the most extreme when we talk about abortion. And I just think it's repulsive that we should be telling a young woman that she has to have a baby when she was raped. And because she didn't take the morning pill, we're going to make you suffer for that. I just disagree. I'm against late-term abortion. We also have millions of kids right now that are waiting to be adopted, where abortion is legal in about half the country. If abortion is abolished, there's going to be millions of more kids.
Why is there such a long list of parents trying to adopt that can't have kids?
Well, guess what? The process that we have right now is awful.
Well, it should make the process better then.
Well, I think we should probably make the process better before we ban abortion across the country.
I also think that it should be.
Yeah.
They should be looked into before they can take a baby or a child. We don't want someone who has a history. Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
But they should make it easier. I agree with that.
Yeah, but that's an issue that needs to be taken care of before we even have this conversation. And half the country, abortion's illegal. I would be more okay with abortion, with this conversation, if in fact Republican policies were more geared towards helping single mothers. They're against basically every government program to help Americans. And I'm sorry, when you give the biggest tax breaks to the top 1% and the most vulnerable people that are living paycheck to paycheck in this country are the ones that are suffering the most under Republican policy. And I think I want consistency. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I want consistency. I don't like the government getting involved in our lives. Even when it came to the COVID shots, I didn't think that it should have been mandated. Even though
that's another thing that got me into politics.
Yeah, I mean, even though the conspiracy theories are insane, and a lot of MAGA Republicans are infectious disease doctors, and they think, but
we're not going to go down that one right now.
Well, I mean, I don't mind it, but I mean, it's on Fox News they mentioned Dr. Fauci's name more than the war in Iran.
Can't stand that guy.
Well, I mean, listen, I can't stand Donald Trump.
Why? Why?
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. This is fascinating to me. You can't stand Dr. Fauci, but you think Donald Trump's a good dude?
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Have you ever said you can't stand Donald Trump?
How many times did he plead the fifth?
How many times did Donald Trump and his family plead the fifth? You don't know.
I don't know.
Over 500 times. You know why, Dr.
And why did
Over 500 times. Do you know why Dr. Fauci pled the fifth?
Hmm.
Because they're doing anything and everything they can to try to put the man in jail. What's the charge? What crime did Dr. Fauci commit?
I'm honestly, I'm not aware. Again, I've been
Okay. All right.
way out of
So
it.
why do you
the
hate Dr.
situation.
Fauci?
Because of all the shit he did during COVID.
What did he do?
Sorry.
What did he do? What did he do?
He was pushing the vaccine.
He was
mandating it.
Fauci didn't mandate it. It was actually Donald Trump who left it up to the states, and then the governors made those decisions. So that's Donald Trump's fault. But Dr. Fauci
All the mandates he did, though.
Yeah.
6 feet apart.
Yeah, Fauci didn't put in. I mean, you're talking about the CDC, and it went a state by state basis. Do you think during COVID, when we were losing 3,000 to 5,000 people a day, you don't think we should? You think everyone should?
You don't want me to go down that one. I'm a conspiracy on that one. We don't want to go there.
Okay, well, I don't like conspiracies. I just like
know
facts.
that. That's which why.
And I've just said from the beginning that you should listen to your personal doctor who knows your personal medical history.
But the doctors were getting bonuses.
No, that's not necessarily true. My doctor was not getting any bonus.
How would you know? Did he was going to tell you?
Because first of all, there are always certain drugs that certain doctors prescribe, and there are some bonuses entail. But when it comes to the COVID vaccines, not every physician was getting bonuses for advising people to get vaccinated. The fact of the matter is that I almost died of COVID before the vaccines were available.
I had COVID when I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm diabetic, you know that.
Right, as am I.
And I was fine.
Right, as am I. Well, I wasn't. I almost died.
I got really sick, but I was fine.
It's a case-by-case basis. But
Right.
I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I almost died. I got vaccinated twice. I got COVID 3 more times, and I had the sniffles.
No,
So
I've had COVID like 4 times.
Yeah, well, every person's body's different, right? And if that's your choice,
right?
If you didn't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. The evidence is overwhelming that the vaccination saved millions of lives. And while we were losing 3,000 to 5,000 people a day, Donald Trump was holding rallies and forcing people to write to sign letters that said basically, if you get COVID and die, you can't sue us. Herman Cain is an example of that. A guy who ran for president, who recovered from cancer. He went to one of Donald Trump's rallies, got COVID, and died a week later. I didn't want this to happen. What is that noise?
That's my pump.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I didn't. Her blood sugar is raising.
It's probably high.
I hope you're okay. But anyway, we don't have to get into the vaccine.
Yeah, that's
we don't have to get into the vaccine conversation. I want to ask you from a personal standpoint, because we've talked about immigration, we've talked about abortion. Those are obviously important topics to you. I understand those are important topics. I don't think the transgender issue is a top 5 topic, but what about the personal stuff? I'm just curious. It's like, here's a guy.
Is a personal life like in matter in sense of
because it affects your policy. I do think
so.
Matters. And I also think I don't want a president of the United States to protect pedophiles. We were told.
Well, that's an opinion.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then, if you think that's an opinion.
I don't think he's a pedophile.
Okay, so let me ask you a question if you think that's an opinion. When Donald Trump's former personal attorney went to speak to Ghislaine Maxwell, who's one of the biggest sex traffickers in the history of the world, and then 2 days after that meeting, they put her in a Club Med facility. Can you give me one logical reason why they did that?
I have no idea. I can't say.
You can't speculate at all.
I'm not going to speculate on that.
Okay, so you don't know.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Okay, well, I think I have a pretty good idea. I think it's because they're protecting Donald Trump.
Well, that's an assumption as well.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell put out a statement after that meeting in the interview, clearing Donald Trump's name. And then 2 days later, she's put in a Club Med facility. He also won't rule out a pardon. Won't rule out a pardon for one of the biggest sex traffickers in the history of this country.
I don't agree with that either. I don't know what's going on.
So it's either one of two things. Either he's protecting pedophiles, which is what Marjorie Taylor Greene said in her last conversation with Donald Trump. He said she wanted all the files released, and he said a lot of my friends would get hurt. So I
heard that, yeah.
So it's either one of two things. He's either protecting pedophiles or he's one himself. There are credible allegations.
But isn't there they're all pedophiles?
They're all? I don't think Joe Biden's a pedophile. I don't think Barack Obama's a pedophile. What evidence is there that Barack Obama's a pedophile?
Do you know how much was blocked out of the files they released?
Is Barack Obama or Joe Biden's name named once in the Epstein files? Because Donald Trump's no. The answer is no.
You looked it up.
The answer is no.
Did you look it up?
Yeah, the files that have been released, Joe Biden and Barack Obama's name is not mentioned in there one time. Donald Trump's name is named more in the Epstein files than Jesus Christ in the Bible. That's a fact. It's a fact. So
I'm not gonna. Here's the thing. There's no factual evidence yet. There are things that look weird, but there's no proof.
Proof of what? What do you
That
say?
he's a pedophile. That he didn't. There's no proof.
I think there's a lot of evidence.
But not proof.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. All the 25.
Let me tell this. If it comes out that he is, I would.
He's not releasing the rest of the files.
Well, let me say, if it comes out that he is, he needs to go to prison.
Well, it was alleged that
I will say that.
It was alleged that he raped an 11-year-old girl. The FBI thought
But that was alleged.
Well, no, the FBI thought it was credible enough that they interviewed her, and then there's no explanation as to why they halted the investigation. That's actually in the Epstein
It was
files.
all hearsay. That's why.
No, it's not hearsay. It was actually reported. The FBI thought the allegations were credible
Allegations.
enough. Credible enough
that's
that they interviewed her. That's not hearsay.
It is. It's her words. There's no actual evidence.
Well, let me ask you this then.
And at what time was that? What year was that?
I don't have the. What does it matter whether it was 50 years ago or 5 years ago? What does that make a difference?
Because you don't think that people would do that to keep him from getting elected for president?
Of the 25 women that have accused Donald Trump of rape or sexual assault, at least half of those women came forward way before he ran
with
for
zero
president.
evidence.
I wouldn't characterize it as zero evidence. He was found a liable sexual abuser and found liable for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll, a jury of his peers. And when they asked him,
There was no factual evidence there.
Actually, yes, there was.
What was
there?
it?
There was first of all, there was a dress that she was wearing. There was articles of clothing that she was wearing.
Mhm.
The jury got evidence from people that E. Jean Carroll talked to, where they were at the time, and the jury found that there was enough evidence that they saw.
He was not charged with that.
No, he was found liable for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll. A jury found him liable, not criminally, but liable.
There was no evidence. So who says it wasn't consensual? If that was the evidence,
The jury who found that he was liable for raping E. Jean
again,
Carroll.
that's an opinion.
No, it's not an opinion.
It
It's
really
a jury.
is.
It's a jury.
There's no factual evidence.
No, he was found liable. That's not an opinion. You do know that, right? He was found liable for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll. The judge characterized it as rape. There are 25 other women. Are you saying all these women are lying? All 25 women are lying. None of them
I'm
are
not
credible.
saying they're lying. I'm saying there's no proof.
The jury disagreed with you. They found that he
Well,
was
the
liable.
jury can disagree with me if they want.
Yeah, so
But
you don't
it's
believe
the
it.
jury's opinion.
So you don't believe it.
I'm not saying it did or didn't happen. I'm saying there is no proof of it.
Okay, so the jury.
And if the proof ever comes out, I'm not okay with
the
that.
jury saw all the evidence that we didn't see, and a jury made the decision to find Trump liable for sexual abuse.
Have you looked up if there was any actual proof?
So
Because
they
I
were-
did, and it said there was none.
What do you mean? What said there was no proof? What do you mean?
Well, I looked up my research. I dived deep, said there was no proof that he did that. Sorry about my pump.
Okay, well that's okay. The jury disagrees with you, and they saw more
That's
evidence
fine.
than you saw.
That's fine.
There are
That's
20.
true.
There are 25 women that have accused Donald Trump of rape or
Mhm.
sexual, including his ex-wife in a deposition under oath.
His ex-wife.
Yes, Ivanka Trump accused Donald Trump of raping her when they were married. She said it under oath in a deposition, and then
Ivanka Trump.
Ivana. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Ivana.
I was like, wait a
apologize.
minute.
Although you know
That's his daughter.
there are some. He did sexualize Ivanka as well.
I seen that, but I
Um,
think it was misperceived.
So Ivana Trump accused Donald Trump of raping her when they were married, and then a few months later, he settled out of court with her and paid her a large sum of money, and she retracted. There are 25 other women that have said the same. Donald Trump, do you have a daughter?
I do have.
Okay, there's a reason why I'm asking that.
Yeah, I assume so.
Imagine if your daughter was 15 or 16 years old and she was in a beauty pageant, and then some weird, creepy old man went in there without her permission when she was half naked. That's not somebody you would vote for. I can't imagine, Republican or Democrat, you would vote for somebody like that. Donald Trump did that. And several women have been on the record saying, yes, that did happen. Donald Trump bragged about it on the Howard Stern
I
show.
know. I seen him.
You can't be okay with that behavior. I know you're not okay with that behavior. I know, Shannon, you're not okay with that.
It's not. Look, it's not. I don't like the behavior. I'm not okay with the behavior, but it's not so severe. I've watched videos of other women and all the beauty pageant things, and that's like a normal occurrence.
You think it's normal for a middle-aged
From
man?
what I heard from women who do beauty pageants,
Mhm.
that happens at all beauty pageants. It's not
Does it hap-
okay. I don't agree with it, but it is a common occurrence. It's not something unusual.
I think it's unusual for a man doing that and then sexualizing it
Yeah, I
on
don't
a
like
national
it.
show.
Yeah, look, I don't like
It's
it.
one thing if
It
a guy
doesn't
goes in
look
there
good.
without permission and he's not going in there in a sexual manner. He has a job to do.
Right? No. I agree. I
That's
agree with you on
different.
that. I agree with you on that.
And
I don't like it.
I don't want somebody to be the leader of the free world who sexualizes teenage girls and
Well, it
brags
has
about
nothing
it.
to do with the policies of America.
I think it has a lot to do
How
with
so?
human decency. And
But
I
how
want
does it have to do with like our country?
Sure.
and the
Sure, 'cause
policies.
I think
because
someone that-
how does that come into play there?
I think somebody that shows over and over again that he doesn't respect women, and he disrespects people.
But he's doing things for women.
What is he doing for
Taking
women?
men out of women's sports, making it fair for them.
First of all, he didn't take men out. First of all, how many of the 500,000 college athletes? How many of them are transgender?
I don't know the numbers.
Under 10. It's not an issue.
I think it's more than 10.
No, it's not. You can look that up.
I'm gonna look it up.
You can look that up.
I'm gonna look it up.
500,000 college athletes, 10 of them. If you care so much about women and you care so much about safety, why is he not doing anything when it comes to gun control? Why is there no healthcare plan?
Gun control.
Sure.
You're against the 2A?
I didn't say I was against guns.
Well, what is your opinion on
My
it?
opinion is it's not an opinion. We have more gun violence in this country than almost any other country in the world. And
I can tell you why.
Well, yeah, I think because we have 140 guns per 100 people per capita in this country.
I think because we should be allowed to open carry everywhere. You're not going to attack someone that has a gun on
So
their
you
hip.
think more guns make us safer?
Yeah.
You do. Okay.
If
So
you're if you're a criminal and you're
Yeah.
going to try to rob somebody or rape somebody, and you look at somebody and you see they have a gun on their
Yeah.
hip,
Yeah.
are you less likely to go for that person? Or are you going to go for
Well,
the
let's talk
person
about
that looks
that.
like they're unarmed?
Let's talk about that. You just said more guns make us safer.
Yeah.
We have more guns in this country than almost any other country in the world. Hold on. That would mean by your standards, we have less gun violence than it. You just said more guns
Less
make
gun
us safer.
control. Less gun control. Because you know how hard it is to even conceal carry in California?
In most states in this country, an 18-year-old can walk into any gun store and buy thousands of rounds of ammunition and AR-15s.
It's a process. No, you can't just go in there and buy
Okay,
it.
well, guess what? That's exactly what happened in exactly what happened in the shooting in Uvalde, Texas. An 18-year-old, the day before the shooting, walked into a gun store, bought a bunch of weapons, shot his grandmother in the face, and killed a bunch of innocent children. So I respectfully disagree with you.
Right.
In most states in
No.
this country, you can walk into a gun
can't.
store, they'll do a basic background check, and you can purchase a gun.
There's a background check.
Yeah.
There's a test. It takes like a week for it to go through.
Not with the kid. Not
See,
in
I don't
certain
know what
states.
went on there, and that's gonna. I want to look into that because, and I have before, but I don't quite remember.
In most
I
states-
think that's weird. I want to look at that state's gun laws and procedures because I feel like there's something weird going on with that. But I also feel like schools should have armed guards. My son's school has an armed guard, and even just I'm gonna throw it over.
That's okay. You're good.
Even just one armed guard at my son's school, I still feel like there
How
should
did
be
that?
more.
How did that work in Uvalde with armed security and police officers? How did that work out?
They had armed security at the school prior to anything happening.
And there were about 20 police officers that were armed at the
How
time.
long did it take them to go in the school?
Well, that's my point.
Why didn't they go in?
Because they were a bunch of cowards. What about
Exactly.
Parkland? Parkland, they had armed security. How did
I
that
don't know
work
about
out
that
in
one.
Parkland? There were armed security. Scott Peterson is one of the names that was on trial, by the way. I don't have a problem with armed security.
I think there should be more
But-
of it at every school.
Okay, perhaps, but that still wouldn't stop all the gun violence in this
Well,
country.
see, my point is this. You're missing my point. The gun violence,
Mm-hmm.
yes, but if it were easier to have open carry, and I think open carry, like I said, because if you're going to attack people and you see they're armed, you're less likely to attack those people. You want to go for the weak, unarmed people so you can actually kill them without getting killed.
Right, but here's where I disagree with your argument, and it goes back to what I said earlier. We have more guns in this country than almost any other country
But you
in
can't
the world.
conceal, you can't open carry it. It makes a huge difference.
There are. Well, first of all, if you're going to commit a crime, it doesn't matter whether it's open carry or
It
not.
really does.
So let me ask you this: somebody that wants to kill a bunch of innocent people, you think they care whether there's open carry or not? No, of course not. They're criminals and they're going to kill people.
Well, even if they don't care, it's going to kill a lot less people
Disagree.
because they're going to be people armed that are going to get him down before he gets the chance to get
then
more
why
people.
is it that the countries that have almost no gun violence at all are the countries that don't have guns?
That's not true. Idaho has such a low gun
countries. I said countries.
Oh, countries. My
countries,
bad.
not states.
Well, let's go states because
Okay.
in America, the states that have less gun control have less violence.
Okay. Well, what would you say about Las Vegas?
I am not familiar with Las Vegas, but I know you can open carry here, right?
Yeah,
My
so
husband
we
was
had-
very excited about that,
We
by
had-
the way.
Well, I can tell you right now, the October 1 shooting wasn't very exciting. We had the biggest mass shooting in American history where over 60 people lost their lives from a lunatic on top of Mandalay Bay who bought a bunch of
I know. I remember that.
assault
my
weapons.
my boss was there.
Yeah, it's
She's
horrible.
traumatized.
So here's my point, right? Joe Biden passed the most bipartisan gun legislation we've had in decades. After the Sandy Hook shooting, Obama tried to pass some basic gun legislation. By the way, most people in this country want it. I think that I saw stats like over 80% of people want it. The problem is in this country, we have a lot of people, in my opinion, that are obsessed with guns. I think everybody should have the right to buy a weapon. I don't have a problem with that so long as you're not a convicted felon. The problem I have is I always hear the argument that more guns make us safer.
Yes.
If that was the case, we would be one of the safest countries when it came to gun violence in the world. We don't. As I mentioned, we have 140 guns per capita per 100 people in this country. We are a country that is obsessed with our guns.
America.
Well, yeah,
America.
it's very violent in America, and we have a lot of gun violence. You would agree with me that there's way too much gun violence in this country. You would agree with that, right?
I agree. There's way too much gun violence, but I agree that there would be less if we could open carry.
So have people.
Okay, let's go like the Mandalay example.
Mm-hmm.
That's one example, and yes, that was horrible and it killed a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But also with open carry, like on the daily basis, it would prevent a lot.
Wouldn't have prevented that at all.
No, not that. Definitely not that. That's a whole different ball game. But let's say put that in the grand total of all the killings in 1 year. But say you had open carry. The open carry, I think, would prevent a lot of, say, the grand total. Like it would reduce the amount of killings from guns. I'm not saying that situation that nothing would have worked there.
Well,
I don't know what happened.
I guess
that
the
was
point.
horrible.
We only have a couple more minutes left here. I guess the point for me is that I don't think more guns make us safer. I think that there should be more comprehensive background checks. I think that it should be 18 to 21 to purchase a weapon.
It is, isn't it?
No, it's 18 years old. You can purchase a weapon. I think it should be 21. It should be.
Isn't
18.
that like different per state? Or
I think I could be wrong on this, but I thought the legal age in this country was 18.
Well, you have to be 21 in California, I think.
Okay, well, I'm okay with that. Maybe some states are different.
Yeah.
I also think more red flag laws should be put in place. I think if you threaten the life of somebody,
Yeah, I agree with that.
if
I think there should be like a mental evaluation.
yeah, well, guess which party is taking away health care to help people get the mental health that they need? Yeah, it's true. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's true. And then I would also say, besides a mandatory 2-hour class or 4-hour class, just so you know how to store a weapon and know how to shoot it. That's just my personal opinion. But
I agree with that.
I agree with that. But anyway, we only have about 2 minutes left to go, and I could probably talk to you about so many other
we could
topics.
totally go on and on.
Yeah, we probably could. So I would love for you to come back.
That'd be
but
great.
give out the information. I appreciate you coming in and knowing that we would probably disagree on a lot. Give out the information how people can follow you and see what you do on social media.
Instagram, Facebook. Shannon's everywhere, and then TikTok is
You're everywhere.
I am everywhere.
Even I'm pushing the limits.
TikTok is Shannon's everywhere 3.0 because I've been banned so many times.
Okay.
You know how TikTok
Yeah.
is.
1 minute. Will you just admit Donald Trump's a scumbag?
Nope, I won't.
You won't. Not a womanizer, not a pig. Good guy, good father, good husband.
He has questionable past and morals. I will say that.
Okay.
But I think he's a good leader.
You do?
Yes.
Well, he is doing a great job with the reflecting pool in the ballroom. I know that's very important to him. He's definitely
Oh my God.
he's definitely shown great leadership there and kissing Kim Jong-un's ass and Vladimir Putin. So in that aspect, I guess he's a good leader. I don't know. All right. Well, I do appreciate you being here. Will you be buying one of my "Don't Be a Trump Mushroom"
Absolutely
gobbler shirts?
not.
Oh, that's disappointing. I'd love to see you wear one of these shirts. That's really disappointing. Hurts my feelings.
I'm not gonna be like Gavin Newsom. I mean,
I'm not a big
Biden
Gavin Newsom
putting
fan.
I'm not gonna be like Biden putting a Trump hat on.
Well, that was a joke.
It was
he has
hilarious.
a sense
I'm
of
not
humor.
gonna do that.
He has a sense of humor.
I thought about letting you take a picture of me and
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, Shannon. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Brian Collin is going to be joining us on the program tomorrow. You know him from The Hangover and Old School. He's also a political podcaster. That's going to be a lot of fun. Appreciate Shannon being here. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds